I am Judge Eleanor Stone, here to raise the voice of justice once more in the quiet streets of Willow Creek. Today, the case of Tommy Larson, missing for 20 years, is back on my bench. The town thought it had buried this memory, but wounds always find a way to seep through. The story began with Mike Carter's guilty conscience. A quiet man of 35, he couldn't shake that dark night from 2005 when 15-year-old Tommy vanished. Last week, his words finally spilled out. He knocked on David Larson's door, hands trembling. "I saw something in the woods," he whispered. "Jack Hargrove and his son Daniel were burying a body." Those words shook the town to its core. David had lost hope since his son's disappearance. At 62, with graying hair thinning and eyes heavy with years of sorrow, he'd given up. His wife, Mary, in her 60s, still kept Tommy's room untouched, a shrine to her lost boy. Mike's revelation sparked a flicker of hope in their hearts. David rushed to the police. They sprang into action. Jack Hargrove was Willow Creek's hero. His rescues in past fires had built his legend. A former cop in his 50s, charismatic yet enigmatic, he was untouchable, or so it seemed. His family was drawn into the investigation too. His wife Margaret, son Daniel, and daughter Emily, all summoned to the station. In the cold corridors of the police station, their reactions caught my eye. Margaret's face was pale, her hands shaking. Emily sat silently, eyes fixed on the floor. But Jack and Daniel, they acted as if nothing had happened, calm and composed. The police tried a bluff. "We found evidence in the woods pointing to you." There was nothing, just a tactic to rattle them. For hours, officers scoured the forest, boots sinking into the mud, searching for clues, but they came up empty. Jack glanced at Daniel, who nodded back. They'd weathered the bluff. When I took my seat in the courtroom, I felt the town's protective wall around Jack. His heroic tales, like saving 3 children from the 1998 fire, were still on everyone's lips. But I sensed something lurking beneath the silence. Mike's testimony had reignited this case. Tommy's family had waited 20 years for justice. Mary prayed every night since her son's disappearance. David had lost faith, but now a glimmer of light returned. The first step was taken, though the path ahead remained uncertain. The court was embarking on a journey to unravel this secret. The courtroom buzzed with the shadow of suspicion. Though the police's forest bluff yielded nothing, they didn't give up. They suspected a hidden witness, but who it was remained unknown. Meanwhile, the investigation hit a dead end. A search of Daniel's home had gathered suspicious items, but one was missing: Tommy's camping glove. Later, we learned that in 2005, Jack and Daniel had first buried Tommy in the woods. After the burial, Daniel noticed Tommy's glove on the ground, pocketed it to avoid leaving evidence, and upon returning home, stashed it in a box in the garage, forgetting about it. During the police search, this glove wasn't among the collected items, stalling the court's progress. Back in the interrogation room, the family's reactions grew more pronounced. Margaret couldn't hide the unease she felt while rummaging through Jack's old belongings at home. One evening, she ventured into the basement, lifting Jack's old police badge from a box, sensing an odd weight that unsettled her. Emily remained silent, her gaze fixed downward. But Jack and Daniel, they acted as if nothing had happened, calm and composed. The police tried a bluff. "We found evidence in the woods pointing to you." There was nothing, just a tactic to rattle them. For hours, officers scoured the forest, boots sinking into the mud, searching for clues, but they came up empty. Jack glanced at Daniel, who nodded back. They'd weathered the bluff. Tommy's family attended the court proceedings. Mary struggled to hold back tears as she listened to Mike's testimony, whispering, "My son's voice will be heard." David watched with quiet hope. The townsfolk continued to defend Jack. His 1998 fire rescue of 3 children remained a local legend. Yet a neighbor whispered a detail. Jack had returned home late that night. This small hint lingered in my thoughts. The court awaited a breakthrough to overcome this impasse. The police called in additional experts to deepen the investigation due to the glove's absence. Margaret, alone at home, considered confronting Jack, but lacked the courage. This case grew increasingly challenging. The court stood at a crossroads. The glove's absence from the police search had bogged down the proceedings. Then a hidden witness stepped in. Driven by guilt, they tipped off the police. The body had been moved from the woods to an old shed. The witness's identity remained a mystery, but the clue was priceless. The police headed to the shed. They forced open the rusted doors, met with a damp smell and eerie silence. After hours of digging, they uncovered Tommy Larson's remains. 20 years later, these bones brought both pain and hope to his family. DNA testing began immediately. Skin samples from under the nails were taken, analyzed in the lab, and pointed to Daniel. We flashed back to 2005. Daniel and Tommy had lit a campfire in the woods that night. The quiet was shattered by an argument. In a fit of anger, Daniel pushed Tommy, who fell, striking his head on a rock and dying. After burying him, Daniel spotted Tommy's glove, slipped it into his pocket to erase evidence, and later hid it in a garage box, forgetting about it. During the police search, this glove wasn't among the collected items, stalling the court's progress. In court, the DNA confirmed the remains were Tommy's. His family wept as they heard the evidence. Mary said, "We waited 20 years. Now my son's voice will be heard." David nodded silently. The police examined other clues in the shed. A worn rope corroborated the body's relocation. As Judge Stone, I realized this case wasn't just about a murder, but a family's collapse. The hidden witness's identity was still unknown, but these clues brought us closer to the truth. The courtroom reached a fever pitch of tension. The DNA results were revealed. The skin under the nails belonged to Daniel Hargrove. A shockwave rippled through the room. Lawyers hunched over their notes, whispering strategies. The audience murmured. Mike Carter took the stand. "I saw Jack and Daniel in the woods," he said, voice quivering. "They were burying a body. I was scared, so I stayed silent." But the glove was missing, complicating the case. Jack's defense held, though shaky, while Daniel squirmed, sweat beading on his forehead. I reviewed the court records. Jack's duty log for that night was riddled with inconsistencies. It claimed he was at the station at 11 p.m., but a witness placed him outside town. This suggested he was at the shed. Daniel finally broke. "I argued with Tommy," he confessed, his voice cracking. "I pushed him, he fell and died. My dad moved the body." This admission rocked the court. His lawyer shouted, "It was an accident!" But the evidence weighed heavily. Tommy's family felt both relief and rage. Mary whispered, "My son's killer is found." David nodded quietly. Emily's silence remained an enigma. Her secret trips to the woods haunted my thoughts. The hidden witness's identity was still unknown. The trial moved forward, but the glove's absence created a bottleneck. Jack had lied to protect his son, but those lies were crumbling. The truth edged closer, though the final act awaited. The room buzzed with the weight of the impending decision. The courtroom teetered on the brink of an unexpected turn. The glove's absence had stalled the trial until the hidden witness intervened. Driven by guilt, they informed the police of the glove in Daniel's garage and the shed's location. The police retrieved the glove, its soil matched the shed's, and DNA confirmed it was Tommy's. The trial surged forward. Daniel's confession gained strength, and Jack's defense collapsed. Yet the witness's identity remained a secret, fueling anticipation. The moment of judgment arrived. The room fell silent. I, Judge Stone, weighed all the evidence.
Daniel's accident was clear. Jack's cover-up crumbled, and the witness's tip sealed the deal. As I prepared to announce the sentences, a gasp filled the air. Emily Hargrove stood up, eyes brimming with tears. Her voice trembling, she declared, It was me! I'm the hidden witness!" The room froze. We flashed back to 2005. Emily had witnessed her brother's accident and her father's cover-up, noticing the glove's hiding place. Yet she stayed silent for 20 years. One night, alone in her room, she wept, tears soaking her pillow as guilt gnawed at her. Mike Carter returned to the stand. I was scared. I stayed quiet. I didn't cover it up, just kept silent for 20 years. His voice carried a plea, though he accepted his role. His lawyer argued he testified, not hid the crime.
Silence was complicity. My verdict was final. Jack Hargrove was found guilty of covering up his son's murder. Daniel Hargrove was found guilty of the wrongful death of Tommy Larson. Emily Hargrove was found guilty of knowingly concealing the crime. And Mike Carter was found guilty of concealing the murder for 20 years. All four were convicted. Tommy's parents, Mary and David, received justice. "My son may rest in peace," Mary cried. David bowed his head. The town had no more secrets. The rumors were debunked. The story had its perfect ending.